do not reflect those of the show, the management, and Abbott Nutrition. Only questions pertaining to children 3 years old and above will be answered in compliance with the Milk Code, and questions concerning children 3 years and below must be directed to viewers' own healthcare providers. By participating in Usapang Alaga's Facebook Live, participants agree and acknowledge that all information shared during the activity shall be visible to all live stream viewers. Notwithstanding the foregoing, no personal information shall be collected and retained by the organizers, doctors, and Abbott Nutrition in compliance with the existing data privacy laws and regulations, including but not limited to the Data Privacy Act of 2012 and its implementing rules and regulations. The organizers shall not be held liable for any misinterpretation or misuse of such information voluntarily shared by participants during the live session. We reserve the right to remove comments that are inappropriate or offensive, attacks another participant personally, including hate speech or comments that encourage illegal activity. Usapang Alaga Nutrition Counseling, Guidelines for Participation and Viewing. This service is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, to be used for a therapeutic purpose or made as a substitute for the advice of your child's healthcare provider or doctor. The information may include the views or recommendations of third parties and does not necessarily reflect the views of Abbott Nutrition. The views and opinions expressed by the host and speakers do not state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the assumptions, views, opinions, and insinuations made by the host or guests do not reflect those of the show, the management, and Abbott Nutrition. Only questions pertaining to children 3 years old and above will be answered in compliance with the milk code, and questions concerning children 3 years and below must be directed to viewers' own healthcare providers. By participating in Usapang Alaga's Facebook Live, participants agree and acknowledge that all information shared during the activity shall be visible to all live stream viewers. Notwithstanding the foregoing, no personal information shall be collected and retained by the organizers, doctors, and Abbott Nutrition in compliance with the existing data privacy laws and regulations, including but not limited to the Data Privacy Act of 2012 and its implementing rules and regulations. The organizers shall not be held liable for any misinterpretation or misuse of such information voluntarily shared by participants during the live session. We reserve the right to remove comments that are inappropriate or offensive, attacks another participant personally, including hate speech or comments that encourage illegal activity. Usapang Alaga Nutrition Counseling, Guidelines for Participation and Viewing. This service is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, to be used for a therapeutic purpose or made as a substitute for the advice of your child's healthcare provider or doctor. The information may include the views or recommendations of third parties and does not necessarily reflect the views of Abbott Nutrition. The views and opinions expressed by the host and speakers do not state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the assumptions, views, opinions, and insinuations made by the host or guests do not reflect those of the show, the management, and Abbott Nutrition. Only questions pertaining to children 3 years old and above will be answered in compliance with the milk code, and questions concerning children 3 years and below must be directed to viewers' own healthcare providers. By participating in Usapang Alaga's Facebook Live, participants agree and acknowledge that all information shared during the activity shall be visible to all live stream viewers. Notwithstanding the foregoing, no personal information shall be collected and retained by the organizers, doctors, and Abbott Nutrition in compliance with the existing data privacy laws and regulations, including but not limited to the Data Privacy Act of 2012 and its implementing rules and regulations. The organizers shall not be held liable for any misinterpretation or misuse of such information voluntarily shared by participants during the live session. We reserve the right to remove comments that are inappropriate or offensive, attacks another participant personally, including hate speech or comments that encourage illegal activity. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Usapang Alaga. Ito po muli si Suzi Abrera, and this is your online series on nutrition counseling. Excited po ako makibahagi na naman sa inyo ng mga bagong kaalaman tungkol sa nutrisyon and how it can help our families become more healthy. Ngayon, eto na nga, isa sa mga constant battles natin simula pagkabata ay ang ating sugar consumption. Ako, hindi lang po mga batang mahilig sa candy at saka sa mga tsokolate. Minsan kahit sa ating pagtanda, dadala natin ito. And it's a bigger problem, of course, for those who are diabetics. So today or tonight, ang ating focus ay kung paano ba malulower ang sugar levels ng mga taong may diabetes para ma-restore yung kanilang normal immune function. Para dyan, syempre, kailangan natin ng isang eksperto. We have with us tonight our expert on diabetes. He is Dr. Jeremy Robles, the president of the Philippine Society of Endocrinology, Diabetes, and Metabolism. Hi, Doc Jeremy!
Hi, Susie. Hello po sa inyong lahat na nanonood.
Ayan, eto na, the doctor is in. Kaya kung kayo ay may mga katanungan dyan, isulat nyo lang po sa ating comment section. At susubukan naming sagutin mamaya ni Doc Jeremy yan. Ngayon, Doc, alam mo naman, laging usap-usapan ngayon, pinag-uusapan, strengthen your immune system, have a good immune system. Ano ba talaga yung immune system and how does it work?
The immune system, Susie, ito yung defense mechanism ng body natin. So basically, hindi masyado natin ito napapansin, no? So most of the time, halos wala ka lang naman nararamdaman. But our body actually has a defense against infection, be it bacterial or viral infection. Ito po yung first line na pag na-expose tayo, pinapatay nila yon, and then they defend us from getting worse, no? From this type of infection. So it's pretty much a defense that all of us have.
Right. Kasangga talaga natin sila to keep ourselves healthy and to not get sick. Pero balita ko rin po, Doc, yung mga taong may diabetes, mas mababa ang immune system nila. If so, bakit po?
That's true, no? If you're diabetic, it puts you at risk kasi nga yung elevated blood sugar mo, sobrang taas ng blood sugar mo, it disrupts the balance of the body. So essentially, ang nangyayari, pag nagkaroon ng infection, if the infection is present, madali po madapuan yung mga diabetic. So, mas at risk po sila. So, importante po na they keep this in mind kasi nga, they have to be able to defend themselves or protect themselves as well. Huh?
Right. So, if so, ano yung mga measures that diabetics have to really take seriously?
Okay. So, if you're diabetic, first and foremost, dapat po alagaan mo yung sarili nyo. Kung meron kayong gamot, and I'm sure that they're on medications, if you're on oral medications or injectable medications, dapat tuloy-tuloy lang yun. Dapat hindi nila ma-stop yung medications nila. Kasi nga, this is your way of controlling your blood sugar and keeping your body in a balance. No? So, diet is also very important. The balanced diet is very important. Exercise is also very important. And then, enough sleep. No? Importante rin yung tulog.
Oo nga. Doon sa mga vitamins, minerals, nutrients, yung zinc, lagi ko siya nakikita. How important is that for somebody who's diabetic?
There's so many vitamins and minerals that you actually need, no, to get into a balanced diet. Zinc is very important because, again, it's one of the basic vitamin and mineral that you actually need for your body to be able to function fully. We call it the recommended daily allowance, which is what the typical person needs, no, in a typical day. Sometimes hindi po natin nakukuha lahat yon sa diet natin. Kaya importante po na we get adequate sources for these types of requirements, no? So sometimes we actually advise our patient na milk supplements, such as specific milk supplements, particularly those for diabetic patients, are very important, and they should actually consider these type of milk supplements. Hindi po siya ordinary na milk, no? So these are the type of supplements or preparations that have a balanced amount of vitamins and minerals, as well as an adequate level of blood sugar that specifically is for diabetic patients and for these type of subsets, no?
So, is that something that they add on to an already healthy diet, or is this for diabetics who may not have access to yung foods na dapat para sa kanya?
Yung these type of preparations actually can be used as an add-on. So sometimes what we do is we tell them that this is a snack replacement. If they take the milk, wala na silang snacks, no? Or pwede rin siyang meal replacement. So when you say meal replacement, siya talaga yung papalit dun sa meal, no? So
Right.
you're trying to control the amount that you're taking in, and these preparations are actually very well balanced. Kaya minsan, very useful din siya if you're trying to control the intake as well as the calories na tinitake nung pasyente mo, or whether you're targeting a particular component of that preparation. Mas mainam din siya, mas maganda siya kasi balance nga siya.
So now, for those naman who also want to, make the effort also of eating healthy for everyday living. So we were talking about all the vitamins and zinc. What about grains? Kasi balita ko pag diabetic, medyo iwas sa rice. Tama po ba?
Yes, tama yun. Well, as I said, ang pinakamainam sana is that, you get the balanced diet, vegetable-based. Yun yung pinaka-importante. But Filipino tayo eh. So if you're Filipino, parang hindi complete yung meal mo kung wala kang rice, di ba? So struggle then for us that advise our patients that, it's not easy to actually remove that part of the meal. No? So what we do is we try to make them understand that, yes, of course, the rice is a good source of carbohydrates, but you cannot give too much of it kasi pag sobra-sobra, tataas naman din yung sugar mo.
Right.
The type of rice is also very important. Brown rice, black rice for that matter, is actually better than the processed white rice kasi mas mataas nga yung fiber ng mga brown rice at saka ng mga black rice for that matter, no? So that's one component that we look at. And
pwedeng mag-rice, pero iwas dun sa white. Oo nga, mas nutritious tsaka high fiber yung colored rice. What about, Doc, vitamin C? Because, when we talk about boosting immune system, that seems to be the first thing we look for.
Vitamin C is also a very important component. There's a specific requirement per day, no? So I think about 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day. Makukuha mo naman yan with when you take in fruits as well as other components of your diet. Pwede mo naman makuha yun. But that's why we advise our patient, dapat balance din. Kahit paano, you have your full meal and then you have your desserts. But desserts, you have to keep in mind that sweets have to be controlled, no? So hindi pwede yung kainin mo na lang kung lahat ng gusto mo. Or often, if you see mangoes, for us here in Cebu, mangoes are available all year round. So we can't just take like sobrang daming mangoes just because we can get it on the other street, no? So there's still a limit to it. So you have to keep in mind that you have to strike the key word here is just balance, no? So importante yun. So
lahat
vitamin
naman ng
C,
sobra masama di ba?
nga.
Kahit na kung ano man yan, it's always parang hindi siya kasing beneficial kapag sobra-sobra. What about folic acid? Kasi pinaririnig ko yan, Doc, kapag magbubuntis.
Yes, folic acid. Normally, if you're pregnant, they will give it to you as tablets, no? But it's actually available in green and leafy vegetables, no?
Right.
Kung kakain ka lang ng vegetables, at least makakompensate mo, makukuha mo naman yung requirement na kailangan. So eggs are also very important source of it. No, since we talked about folic acid, maybe we need to talk about vitamin D also. Nowadays, it's important that you get a little sunlight also kasi source din yan ng vitamin D. But other sources include, of course, salmon. It's a very good source, but a little bit expensive. No? But any form of fish, no, tuna, mackerel, no, these are good sources of vitamin D, no. But you can get this even from milk, no. Vitamin D is
oo nga pala.
We can get it from milk, no. If you drink milk, that's a good source for a lot of vitamins and minerals that you actually need, no?
And Doc, since we're going down the alphabet, kamusta naman ang vitamin E? Paano nakakatulong yan sa immune system?
Yung vitamin E naman, it's still another vital component na kailangan ng body mo to balance out everything, no? The usual source nito yung avocado, no? And then you also have nuts, no? Your almonds, no? And vitamin E together with selenium is actually some sort of antioxidant. No, it can help protect your body. No, again, it goes back to the word balance. No, so it helps us keep in shape basically. No?
At panahon ng avocado yata ngayon, Doc. So take advantage, di ba? Pero hindi din sobra-sobra. Yan naman laging pinapaalala natin.
Just enough lang. Just
Yes.
enough lang.
And then of course, ang mga uso ngayon ay mga probiotics at
Yes.
yogurt.
Probiotics, very important. You have to understand kasi basically, ito naman the good kind of bacteria that helps you cleanse or basically clean out your intestines. No? So,
Right.
ito naman ay favorable. But, the preparations, you need to be aware of it. Minsan kasi medyo matamis lang. So, for diabetic patients, baka magkaroon ng problem. So, again, you have to be able to choose the best ones for you. So, medyo specific lang siya yung mga drinks at saka preparations for our diabetic patients.
Okay.
I'll bring you back to the point with regard to milk because the type of milk that we actually recommend to diabetic patients is specific for these diabetic patients. No, hindi po siya yung ordinary milk lang.
Yes.
So you have to keep this in mind kasi yung ordinary milk, medyo matamis siya. The vitamins and minerals might not be as complete as you want it to be. No?
Yeah. Medyo specific market kasi talaga yung diabetics di ba? Compared to everybody else. Alright, so ang dami talagang sources of nutrition, di ba? Pero syempre pa rin, prutas, gulay, mga classic fatty fish, di ba? Tsaka lean meats. Ngayon, ito naman, syempre, Doc Jeremy, especially those, for all of us, and especially those who are diabetics, what can we do para hindi mako-compromise yung ating immune system?
So we talked about diet earlier. Importante yun, no? That we covered that part. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is you need to have enough rest. Right. And by rest, I mean you need to be able to sleep well. No? 7 to 8 hours of sleep is actually ideal. Some of us can do with like 4 or 5 hours. No? So particularly for our frontliners, no?
Yes.
Alam ko, mahirap ngayon na panahon, but andito kami lahat for the frontliners. No? So sleep is very important for you to stay healthy. Right. As much as possible, if you can get good rest, then you're going to be okay during the time that you work. Huh? Right. So, ikaw, Susie, I understand you have a stressful work. So, ano ba ginagawa mo para ma-de-stress ka?
Na-stress lang ako sa mga Wi-Fi ngayon, Doc. Kasi, because we are all working from home and that's an adjustment that we all have to make. Pero, we all work out with that one naman. Speaking of workout, yan, regularly kong ginagawa yan. If possible, every day, 30 minutes every day, whether walking or on the spinner bike or yoga, di ba, movement, kasi we're all just stuck at home And another one is meditation, kasi para ma-calm din yung mind, kasi minsan yung stress din, hindi nanggagaling siya talaga sa isipan So medyo kailangan mag-pray, tsaka syempre mag-meditate para makarelax naman ang katawan. Pero yun, so we talked about the diet, we talked about moving the body, we talked about rest. Bukod po dyan, syempre sinabi nyo rin yung nutritional formulas for people with diabetes. Ano ba yun? Is that something that they take every day?
Yeah, okay. So when we talk about nutritional formulas, naka-incorporate po ito sa dietary instructions na binibigay natin, particularly for diabetic patients. Yes, we do give prescriptions for nutritional formulas. Importante ito kasi the patient needs to understand na this needs to be integrated. So kasama talaga siya doon sa management. So hindi ibig sabihin na just because you're on you have a specific formula tapos kakain ka ng kakain. So there has to be a balance to it. So ibig sabihin, kahit meron kang diabetic formula, pwede ka naman kumain. It's just that you have to make sure that you discuss this with, typically, pinapadala namin sa dietitian. So the dietitian will take care of explaining ano po dapat, ano po yung ideal, no? Particularly the choices of food. No? So, importante yon para maintindihan ng pasyente. No?
So kasi yung mga yung specific formulas na yan for diabetes, sila may vitamins and nutrients na yung kailangan nila pang araw-araw na medyo mas specific para sa kanila, blood sugar levels medyo mas na maintain siya, tama ba, Doc?
Kasi yung when you talk about milk, hindi sila they're not the same, no? So some milk formulation may actually have higher sugar content, no? Compared to those that are specifically targeted or given to patients that are diabetic. So diabetic specific formula ang tawag doon. So ito po yung mga gamot na yung mga milk na binibigay namin dun sa pasyente so that we will be able to harmonize or control or level off the blood sugar. So pina-flatten din namin yung sugar with the type of formulation that we have. No?
And that also has something to do with those who have had viral infections before. Tama ba, Doc?
Yeah. So, well, if you get sick and you're diabetic, no, it's
Mm.
kind of hard to manage because you don't want to eat, you're
Oo
tired.
nga.
If you have milk formulas, alam mo naman na kompleto siya. So,
Mm.
that would be a good option for them kasi
Mm.
if they take it, then you're assured that tama naman yung tinitake niya. So, the
Mm.
patient will be able to take in the appropriate needs for that particular
I
day. No?
see. Okay, I understand better. Oh, nako, so far, ang dami na na-explain ni Doc sa atin, pero ito naman yung pagkakataon ng ating mga viewers na makapagtanong kay Doc. So, Doc, if you're ready, we've got our first question here.
Yes.
How can we really maintain a healthy and balanced diet? Parang unchallenging kasi.
Totoo yun. Mahirap talaga ang balanced diet. I always tell the patients na, as much as possible, choose the right food. Pero, when we talk about choosing the right food, very relative kasi. Kasi may preference tayo kung anong kakainin natin. No? So,
Yes.
when we want to have a balanced diet, you have to keep in mind that carbohydrates needs to be cut down.
Mm-hmm.
Not the usual. Kasi Filipinos mahilig talaga mag-rice. So, you have to cut it down to at least 1 cup per meal, and then
That's not so bad.
actually that's not so bad. So that's doable.
Yeah.
And then vegetables. So marami sa atin hindi masyado mahilig ng vegetables because we like to eat meat, no?
Yeah.
So it's a struggle for a lot of us. Pero importante talaga 'yon na maintindihan ninyo. And then the thing that we're advocating now is that people should start cooking from home. Dapat matagal na, no? So right now kasi mahirap. All of the restaurants actually have closed for quite some
Right.
time, and then now they're starting to open up. But you realize that kaya naman pala na sa bahay ka lang kumain, kaya naman pala na ikaw na lang magpe-prepare ng pagkain mo.
Oo, dati kasi Doc, wala tayong time kasi nasa labas, nagtatrabaho. Ngayon nasa bahay. So ito na yung chance natin na makapagluto ng masustansya para sa pamilya. And if that becomes a habit, edi kahit mag-back to work na tayong lahat, ganun na rin yung nakasanayan ng family, eating better and eating healthier.
Yeah, you have to remember also na food prepared from home is actually better than food from outside. Some will argue na siguro sa taste mas masarap yung pagkain sa labas, pero the ones at home, you're very sure that how you prepared it, alam mo
Yes.
safe kasi ikaw naghanda at the same time.
Right.
It's a passion din eh. So eventually you will work on it, and then when you get used to it, maganda na rin siya kasi alam mo na makakasave ka pa kasi gastos
Totoo,
na.
mas mura. Actually,
It's
Doc, dati
cheaper.
nung nagluluto ako, nagsa-start ako, matabang talaga ako magluto kasi hindi ko kaya yung dami pala ng asin na kailangan mo idagdag para lumasa yung food. That's how much sodium is in tasty food pala.
Yeah. Very important yon na intindihan mo. Actually, yung basic lang naman eh. So, when you're at home, you need to have the basic sangkap, no? So, you have your sugar, you have your salt, vinegar, you have soy sauce. All of this you can mix and match with the meat or the chicken so that you can actually adjust the taste
Yes.
to your preference, no?
Yeah.
So, these are things that you need to keep in mind also. The other thing is that remember, a lot of people drink soft drinks at saka sugar-sweetened beverages.
Right.
Medyo we shy away from that. We tell our patients no, na kung pwede, mag-shift na tayo. We should be more healthy. We should be avoiding these soft drinks or sweetened na mga juice, iced tea. No? Water ka na lang para masave mo pa yung calories na tinitake mo. No? So, even coffee, sometimes if you drink too much coffee, that's not going to be good for you. Water, there's nothing wrong with water. If you want
Water's
something
the
cool,
best. Kung gusto nyo ng konting lasa, pwede nyo lagyan ng slice ng lemon, ang lakas pa makasosyal.
Wow.
Alkaline, di ba? Slice, kasi minsan sasabi kasi wala naman lasa yung tubig. Lagyan yung slice ng lemon, alkaline pa yun.
Marami nga sa patients nakakatawa minsan. Sabi, Doc, kailangan ko lang talaga mainom ng something mainit sa umaga. Sabi ko, di, initin mo yung tubig. Tapos pag, hindi, afternoon, sasabihin na, Doc, parang gusto ko uminom ng malamig. Uminom ko ng malamig na tubig. Parang gano'n.
Agree. Ay, nako, I'm such a water fan. So, agree ako dyan sa'yo, Doc. We've got another question. Question number 2, it says, any practical tips on what people with diabetes can eat that's accessible and easy to prepare? Is it okay for us to eat canned goods, cup noodles?
Okay, so canned goods, cup noodles, meron talaga silang preservatives na kasama. So, not a good idea if you keep on taking this type of food. So,
Right.
siguro paminsan-minsan, yes. Especially nowadays, a lot of the people take in canned goods kasi nga available, yun ang
Yes.
nabibigay. But, preferably, dapat fresh. So, one of the tips that I want you to remember is that when you go into the grocery, notice that if you go to the periphery, that's when you see a lot of the fresh food.
Sa gilid lang.
Sa gilid ng grocery. Andun yung fresh meat, andun yung chicken, andun yung and then dun sa kabilang side, nasa periphery pa rin, andun pa rin yung mga fresh vegetables, di ba? So, in contrast, if you go to the middle, andun yung mga sugar-sweetened beverages.
Right.
High level sila. So, ibig sabihin, pag naglalakad ka, nakikita mo talaga yung matatamis at saka yung So, those are, in a way, that's how marketing affects you. No? But remember that if you look around before you just grab everything, you can actually choose better food for you. No?
Right.
And then when you bring all of these home, you have to make sure that you have washed them and then you clean them before you actually prepare them for food. No? Isa yun sa tip na pwede ko mabigay sa inyo.
All right, Doc Jeremy, we have time for one more question. Ito ay, what's an example of a diet plan in a day that's recommended for a person with diabetes? And when is the best time to take diabetic-specific formulas?
Okay, so for diabetic-specific formulas, you can do it two ways, no? One, you can do snack replacement. So, yung snack replacements mo, pwede mo ilagay yung diabetic-specific formula mo as snack in the morning and then snack in the afternoon.
Okay. Merienda.
Yeah, so merienda. So, ibig sabihin nun, kasi snack replacement siya, wala ka na talaga snacks. You just take the milk na lang. So, well, yung diet mo will still be prescribed. So, of course, normally we will calculate around 1,500 to 1,800 calories per day. So, we will break that down, no? So, kasama na doon si milk. Yung milk na yon, naka-incorporate na kung ilang calories yon. So, typically, if, let's say, you have rice for the 3 meals, so that's about 200 calories each, no? So, 600 calories na yon. Tapos, pag magmi-meat ka, that's 300 to 400 calories. Mas mababa kung chicken, so 250 calories, no? Fish, probably 200 to 250 calories. So, if you will calculate that, if you will just put that together, you have your milk supplements for morning snack, and then afternoon snack. In the morning, you can have rice or probably bread, no? And then you add like kung anong gusto mo, kung rice ka, gusto mo mag-fish in the morning, pwede naman. And then you can have chicken with rice at lunch, and then dinner you have meat with rice, no?
Right.
But vegetables kasi non-caloric siya eh. So vegetables, pwede mo talaga siya isabay with breakfast, lunch, and dinner or lunch and dinner. So kasama yun.
Ano ibig sabihin non-caloric? Wala siyang calories.
Wala siyang calories. Hindi siya counted sa calorie intake mo for the day.
Oh my God.
So you can actually eat more with vegetables, no? So that's why very important 'yon. Kasi if you take in a lot of vegetables, syempre mapupuno agad yung tiyan mo. So mabubusog ka agad. So you will eat less, no? So that's one strategy that we actually do for our patients. Sasabihin namin sa kanila, mag-vegetables ka muna para medyo mapuno-puno.
Mabusog ka.
Mabusog ka na. Oo.
Kasi hindi siya kasama sa calorie count. Pero dapat yung doc, siguro yung kanilang gulay ay simple din lang yung pagkakaluto, ano? Wala din masyadong salt or
of course,
toyo
the
patis.
salt that you put in, delikado rin yun because some of our patients pwedeng hypertensive na sila. It can worsen the situation. No? So,
simpleng gulay lang.
Yes, simple lang po prepare. No?
Nako, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dr. Jeremy Robles, and sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you again.
Salamat! And of course, for more information about this topic, or if you have any questions about nutrition, you can always call the Abbott hotline at 8995-1555 or visit the Alagang Abbott Facebook page. So that's it for our episode this week sa Usapang Alaga. I hope to see you guys once again next week dito po sa GMA News Online. Once again, this is Suzi Abrera. Stay safe and healthy, everybody!